The winding trails of the forest serve not only as pathways but also as natural shelters where wild boars retreat to avoid human presence. Known for their intelligence, they often take sudden turns into narrow routes, leaving behind faint traces that make tracking a test of skill and perseverance. Managing wild boars in such environments becomes a contest of patience and strategy, requiring sharp observation and careful planning. In regions where these operations are conducted, preparation begins early. Teams gather to discuss the plan, then spread out to cover different areas. Each participant takes a designated position, anticipating possible movement. The quiet of the forest is easily broken by unusual sounds or distinct scents, often signaling the presence of wild boars. Wild boars are highly resilient, yet when they are located, swift and decisive responses are essential to minimize crop damage and protect surrounding land. Trained dogs play an important role in this process. With sharp instincts and thorough training, they quickly identify tracks, surround the animal, and drive it toward a prepared area where control measures can be applied. Every movement and bark reflects coordinated teamwork between humans and animals. When wild boars emerge from hiding, the situation can escalate rapidly. Despite their strength and resistance, coordinated efforts often prevent escape. Such results are not simply considered immediate success, but also demonstrate the effectiveness of planning, cooperation, and human adaptation to wildlife behavior. The dense underbrush of forest terrain provides both a challenge and an advantage. While it conceals wild boars effectively, it also preserves traces that can be studied carefully. With specialized equipment and experience, teams conduct systematic searches, using tracking devices to locate hidden animals. Once detected, quick and accurate action helps secure the area and reduce potential harm. As the day progresses, operations continue under changing conditions. Afternoon sweeps are carried out to ensure no animals remain concealed nearby. Often, the barking of dogs signals another discovery, drawing attention to movement in the distance. Through careful observation and precise coordination, additional wild boars are intercepted, further reducing threats to farmland. Even as evening approaches, wild boars may reappear unexpectedly, taking advantage of fading light and fatigue among those involved. Yet persistence and determination ensure that operations conclude effectively. The efforts highlight not only physical endurance, but also the importance of patience and strategy in managing these resilient animals. This ongoing process demonstrates the challenges of controlling wild boar populations. It reflects a constant balance between wildlife management and agricultural protection, emphasizing the need for vigilance, preparation, and the collaboration of both human skill and trained animals. Beyond the forests, wild boars often extend their reach into wetlands and riverbanks, areas that serve as both feeding grounds and natural barriers. These environments introduce fresh challenges for those tasked with management. Marshy ground slows human movement, while the animals, with their powerful legs and strong snouts, navigate effortlessly through mud and reeds. To respond effectively, teams sometimes deploy lightweight boats or use elevated observation points, ensuring that the animals' aquatic retreats do not become safe havens. Moreover, the nocturnal habits of wild boars introduce another layer of difficulty. Under the cover of darkness, they emerge silently from the woods to raid fields and orchards. Night operations, therefore, require specialized equipment such as thermal imaging scopes and motion-sensitive cameras. These tools detect heat signatures and movement, allowing teams to anticipate encounters in low-visibility conditions. This blending of traditional fieldcraft with modern technology represents an evolving strategy in wildlife control. In addition to tactical adjustments, communities have recognized the importance of reinforcing physical boundaries. Stronger fencing, electric barriers, and reinforced gates now form part of agricultural defenses in vulnerable regions. While no barrier is entirely foolproof against the determination of a wild boar, these preventative measures slow incursions and reduce the frequency of direct confrontations. Combined with regular patrols, they create an integrated system of protection. At the same time, researchers continue to analyze the social structure of wild boar populations. These animals often move in groups led by dominant females, with younger individuals learning behaviors that improve their chances of survival. Understanding these dynamics allows wildlife managers to predict movement patterns and target interventions more effectively. It also underscores the adaptability of wild boars, which explains why population growth remains difficult to control. International examples shed light on different approaches. In Japan, for instance, rural communities have experimented with automated traps equipped with cameras and remote control systems. Farmers receive alerts on their phones when a boar is detected, enabling swift action without constant field presence. Meanwhile, in Australia, coordinated aerial operations focus on reducing large populations that threaten grazing lands, demonstrating how strategies adapt to landscapes and levels of impact. Despite technological progress, the human element remains central. Patience, endurance, and local knowledge are irreplaceable in field operations. Villagers often contribute by sharing observations, noting where herds were last seen or identifying fresh tracks. This community-based involvement ensures that efforts extend beyond organized hunts, weaving protection into the fabric of daily life. Looking ahead, long-term success depends on combining immediate control with preventive strategies. Habitat management, population monitoring, and research into ecological balance will all play critical roles. For farmers, hunters, and wildlife managers alike, each encounter with wild boars is part of a larger story, a continuing effort to safeguard both the productivity of the land and the stability of rural communities. In the end, the struggle against wild boar incursions is not only about protecting fields but about sustaining a way of life. It demonstrates the resilience of human communities facing persistent challenges and the necessity of adapting strategies in response to an ever-changing natural world. To me, the issue of wild boar management represents more than just a problem of agriculture and wildlife. It embodies the broader question of how humans coexist with adaptable species in shared landscapes. I believe the resilience and intelligence of wild boars make them formidable adversaries, but also living reminders of how nature constantly pushes back against human expansion. This is not a conflict that can be permanently won through brute force. It is a challenge that demands foresight, balance, and humility. In my opinion, current strategies, while effective in the short term, remain too focused on reactive measures such as coordinated hunts and tactical operations. These approaches demonstrate human skill and cooperation, yet they do not fundamentally alter the dynamics driving population growth. I see the need for more proactive methods, investments in predictive monitoring, smarter land use planning, and the integration of technology to anticipate rather than merely respond. In the long run, fencing and night patrols are only partial solutions, unless they are supported by ecological research and sustainable policy. I also think that framing wild boars solely as agricultural threats risks overlooking their ecological role. They disturb soil, disperse seeds, and form part of larger food chains. Eradicating them is neither realistic nor desirable. What is needed, in my view, is a shift toward coexistence strategies, mitigating damage while preserving ecological functions. This could mean developing compensation systems for farmers, supporting local communities with resources and training, and creating adaptive management plans that reflect regional conditions rather than one-size-fits-all responses. Ultimately, I believe the challenge of wild boar management is a test of human adaptability. The real measure of success will not be in the number of animals controlled, but in how societies design systems that safeguard food security, maintain biodiversity, and uphold rural livelihoods without slipping into endless cycles of conflict. For me, this is less about domination of nature and more about finding an evolving equilibrium that respects both human needs and the wild resilience of these animals.